Inside, the lights are low. This isn't your typical lounge. This is where the forgotten tales gather, where the shadows have their say. We'll talk of monsters in the woods, of killers with a motive and lights in the sky, and ghosts in the attic. Come into the waiting room, please.
Tonight we have Steve Oakley, and he's a former MTV employee. He's involved in making reality TV shows. He's a movie producer. He works along with his partner, melaniegrunder. Both of them are award winning reality TV show producers and indie filmmakers. And they were involved in a show called Natural Born Filmmakers. Now, tell us, Steve, how did you get involved in making reality TV shows?
For 26 years, I ran theaters, 4 theaters, 49-seat theaters under the 99-seat equity waiver theater plan in LA. And so at 52 years old, I was, hanging in there barely. And I was doing a play, and a guy said, his name was Michael Lerner. He said, "You look like you need a job." And the reason he said that was because every play that I made for 26 years, I made the actors come to each rehearsal, and I would write them each a new scene using a Smith Corona electric typewriter and carbon paper and typing paper. And I never knew where anything was going, because if you try to make a play and somebody's absent, you're screwed. So if they wanted another scene, they better be there. So that's how I did my plays. I did over 300 plays that way. And Michael Lerner showed up in the last round of my last theater, the 4th theater. Again, the Playhouse of the Foothills. The first theater was the Off Hollywood Showcase Theater, and then Off Hollywood Showcase Theater 2. And then it was the Magnolia Playhouse, finally up here where I live in the Foothills, Playhouse of the Foothills. And he said, I can give you a job transcribing on the Real World. And I said, what's the Real World? He said, it's a reality TV show. And I said, reality TV shows suck. What do you mean, reality TV? I don't watch the Real World. He said, yeah, it's the biggest show on MTV. I can get you a job immediately. And I go, what would I have to do? He said, you'd have to show up and type every day, listen to what people say, and type it all down. And I go, well, I don't want to do it, but I'll go try out. So I showed up probably about 40 minutes late. I had long hair. It was many, many years ago. I still have long hair, but it's thinning on top. And I reeked of weed. So there were 11 transcribing stations going. I sat down on the 12th one, or the 13th, and the guy that set me up didn't like me up right off the bat. And he got me with the headphones on, and I started typing what the people were saying in the scene. And then he suddenly, after a few minutes, went around tapping everyone there on the shoulder and told them to go. And then he walked up to me and he said, you start Monday morning at 9. And so, bingo, I was on the Real World, an MTV show. And I worked for MTV for 21 years. And over the course of that time, I was a transcriber, a driver. I got to pick up the Kardashians in a limo-like car. I was also a grip, a cameraman, but the most important thing was I became an editor. Because if you ain't an editor, you ain't got no movie. Editors are the king of the hill. You can't beat the editors and you can't beat the actors. You got to have them both. Everybody else is arbitrary. So when I started to learn to be an editor, the guy there was Russian. He said, I'll only teach you I'll only teach you Russian style. And I said, what does that mean? He said, close the door. And he said, start editing. Well, we edited on the Avids. Okay. So I knew the ropes on editing. I sat down and started editing. And he started hitting me with a ruler and a yardstick. And then he strangled me and he went, get it right. Get it right. And I got it right. You immediately get it right. And what he meant was, don't use a mouse, just use your fingers and the keystrokes. That's what it meant. Well, now we got this weird thing called a laptop, whole nother ballgame. He's long dead and I'm still alive. But in the course of events, along the way, in order to keep my chops going with the theater and everything else I did, I got into making our own movies and our own reality shows while working still. And we did it on the weekends and on the side. And Natural Born Filmmakers came out of that. I thought of a title, and then I found people through using Backstage West and things like that. And we started finding locations and we began making budgetless movies. We, of course, had some food. Everybody signed a release. And in the course of time, because I was an editor and I could do all the rest of it, I picked up a bunch of cameras, a bunch of tripods, booms, and lights. And we made probably over 100 projects, many of which were features and many of which were reality shows. And that's where Natural Born Filmmaker came about. It was part of the process as I became the character that I am today, Arthur Steinberg. I'm Arthur Steinberg. I was once the world's worst horror film director before I died and came back the first time. But now that I've died and come back 7 times, my films are even worse. How bad are they, you might say? Well, they're so bad. If you have unwanted house guests, unwanted relatives, cockroaches, rats, or termites, or even a bear living under your house, just play a Steinberg film and they'll all run out screaming. So I'm now making Steinberg movies in my last attempt to continue living, because now I'm 75, turning on 6, and I really have died 7 times.
Wow. Now, Melanie Grunder,
Yeah,
is that your wife or is that
she's my life partner. She's sitting next to me drinking, and of course,
Melanie, show yourself. Say hello.
well, she can't. Can you send her? Oh, can she open the same link?
No,
Yes,
I'm not
yes.
blessed.
Yes.
Well, you can just show yourself. Look at me. I look like Steinberg. They want you on the show. Just push the link.
Yeah, push the link and fill in
See,
next.
we got 2 different laptops back to back. I live in an easy chair that's beat up. It's so bad it cuts your feet. And this is where I make all my Steinberg movies, and this is how I continue living.
You know, it's so funny is I used to never watch reality shows. I did get hooked on a couple, like on Bravo, Below Deck, the Housewives, the Beverly Hills in New York, Dubai, TLC, 90 Day Fiance. What do you think about those shows?
They were all the same kind of shows we were making. We made The Real World, The Road Rules, The Challenge. We also made Paris and Nicole. And we also made The Kardashians.
Can they hear me or see me?
We hear you. We don't see you though.
Okay. How come?
No, you would pop up. There we go. All right. I'm about to admit you.
Okay. There she is.
Pop up in a second.
Say hi.
That's her.
Hey.
And then the deal was we were all contemporary reality filmmakers. We all knew each other, and we all watched each other's shows, and we learned. There's only so much to making a damn reality show. You need what they do, and you need the interview bites, and you need some confessionals. And what else do you need?
Were you ever involved, like Phil? He made a few documentaries. Have you ever been involved with documentaries?
Well, that's what a reality show is. It's a documentary
Yeah.
on the lives of these lunatic people. So I was involved in I'd say over 250 of them.
How does that? I always wonder because the documentaries I did were more of the old style. You do a lot of research and they sit down and do the interviews. Whereas, I've watched a little bit of the Real World and the Road Rules from way back in the days, and the Paris and Nicole. So I've seen your work. But I always wondered, like, how long does it take before the people you're filming kind of forget the cameras there and things start to look natural? Is that right away?
Well, that was the opening of the show. This is the story of 7 strangers living in a house until things started getting real. The real world, San Francisco, which is where Puck was. I met Puck, and he was the greatest character on all reality shows that ever lived. Puck.
I'm from San Francisco.
Then you probably knew Puck. I was born in Frisco, but they shipped me down here to Southern California right off the bat. But I can say I was born there.
Oh, right.
On Telegraph Hill in the hospital.
I don't know right what it is. Okay. Telegraph. Wow.
Yeah, February 14th, 1950 at 10:12 a.m. in the morning.
Great. Cool.
That's when I began the process. And the game is that all life is a documentary. And so you either add a camera or you don't. If you're one of us, then the camera just perks us up, right? The filmmaker types. Some people go, I don't want to be on camera. Well, all you got to do is be yourself. I don't want to be myself on camera. Okay. I could say a few words, but, you don't want to scream and cuss. But a lot of these people are nuts. And life is a strange thing. Like Shakespeare coined it, all the world's a stage and all the men and women are merely players. And that's it. That is it. That's the documentary that we're in. We could recoin that to all the world's a documentary and all the men and women are merely in their own documentary. And that's the story of our life now and the time we live in, especially.
Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of crazy ass people in reality TV shows, like 1,000-Pound Sisters. I don't know. It's hard to watch.
I don't think I checked it out or could, because I was told you're dying because you're a fatso. That was one of the reasons I was dying in the beginning. And so I took that to heart.
Right.
There's only one way to lose weight. Only one. You don't shoot yourself with a pin. There's nothing else you can do. You have to simply stop eating. So I set up on a pattern of eating 1 meal a day, but at a certain time. If I missed the time, I'd have to eat it the next day. So sometimes I went into 2 days without eating, and I had to learn to walk again. After my last hospitalization at that time, I couldn't walk. So every time you die, you have to learn to walk again. It's a bummer. And you have to learn to edit, talk, everything. Fortunately, I haven't died since April the 12th, 2023. So it's pushing 3 years without dying because they have me on the right medications and premeditations, and I'm on the ball with it. Except my most recent fun trip to the doctor was, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you are dying from congestive heart failure. So if you add that all up to the other deaths and the deaths we're on, we're all being told we're dying, but we have to live through it. We have to live through this death trip.
I'm so sorry you went through all that. I mean, what you're telling me, your life sounds like a reality TV show.
It is.
Yeah.
If I would have taped all that bullshit,
yeah,
from the 275-pound fatso to the 125-pound thin man, yeah. If I would have taped all those 7 hospital trips and all the ambulances that carted me away and defibrillated me, when you're not breathing and you come back to life, you don't know you're gone. Adios. And, but the deal is, it's given me an incentive to make the thing I'm making. Steinberg goes vertical before he goes horizontal again. And it's a cross between a reality show and a scripted show. Everyone plays themselves except Steinberg, but it's all on paper, and all they got to do is read it like a teleprompter. So it plays just like reality.
What do you, can I ask you a personal question about this, since we're on a topic? I've lost a lot of friends and family, and some of them, had a prolonged illness, and some of them, it was just a surprise. They sat down in the easy chair and then they were gone, kind of thing. And I'm just wondering, from your perspective, since you fought, these illnesses and are still fighting, do you prefer it this way? Do you feel like it's giving you a chance to reflect and face things, and or would you rather be just, okay, one of the people that lays back in the easy chair and just doesn't wake up one day?
Well, now that you mentioned it, dealing with being a senior citizen on Medicare and Social Security and trying to make things work, one of the things we go through every day, especially in my age, but it could be your age too, is, do I jump in front of a bus? Do I walk in front of a car? Do I die of a stroke or a heart attack? You know what I mean? That's the game. Does it ever happen? You wonder if that's the day. Is today the day? Or, because where I walk up here, there's no sidewalks. So you're walking right in the face of a bus or a car. And if everybody's on the cell phone and, computers, one false move, kaputski, every day. And when I'm crossing the streets, I got to look, because everybody doesn't go 15 miles an hour. They're going 60. You got to make sure you don't get out in front of a speeder. And then, how depressed are you in the first place? Because in order to accomplish anything, nobody wants you to accomplish anything. Have you ever noticed that? You're always being blocked. The system blocks you. The big boys block you. The owners of the airwaves block you. We all are deserving of success. So in order to get anywhere, I flip. So do I think about laying down and dying? Probably every day. But I have over my shoulder, you can see my mother, my grandmother, and they're my angels, along with Mary Ellis from The Real World. Because a funny thing about The Real World, practically nobody that worked there liked me. That's the funny part of the story. And
Wow.
They all wanted me fired, but in reality TV, you get rehired again and again and again, because they're always shutting us down and picking us up, shutting us down and picking us up. So she wanted me to work, because I invited her to my theater, and I gave her a quart of Budweiser, like I gave anyone else in the audience, so they could enjoy themselves. And she saw where I was coming from, and that I was more than just a technologist, a writer, because I had to write some of those scripts over there from time to time, or an editor or a transcriber. She saw me as a person, and she allowed me to live. And in order to live, you got paychecks, man. MTV wasn't poor. We were paid well. And then we got unemployment. And so that's the scam. Because of my grandmother, my mother, and Mary Ellis, I'm alive right now. And you can see two of them over my shoulder, my mom and grandmother. But the irony is, I'm meant to be here. I've been brought back. That's the only thing I can see. And I'm hoping it's for Steinberg, because what keeps me going was in 1968, my buddy that I just met in high school, the outcast Scott Newman, Paul Newman's only son, was thrown into a public school, North Hollywood High, and he drove me home to the mansion. So he opened the front door. It looked like the White House. The ceiling was painted like the Vatican, and the walls were coated with Paul's art collection, Grillos, Picasso's, Rembrandts. And and Steubens. And coming down the stairwell is his wife, Joanne Woodward, drunk as a skunk down the marble stairwell with the marble beneath her and the brass railings. And she's holding in her right hand a martini glass, her left hand a shaker. She downs the glass, refills it, and downs it again, looks at me and Scott standing in the door. I'm this long-haired hippie with hair down to my tits, wearing garage sale clothes. I was proud to buy a pair of Levi's for $1. And I'm standing there, and she goes, Scott, why did you bring a lowlifer home? And that one sentence was has made me be who I am, why I came back from the dead, and why I've done everything. Written, directed, acted, made movies. I never made it big. The point of this business isn't to be a small fry, it's to be a movie star. So the only way that I can beat her is to become a movie star. And we can do that overnight digitally, right here, right now. This has got it'll have a digital audience. It could go huge. You know, the bottom line is we got to think big and use our digital assets to become something. And that's why I'm making my 5th installment of Steinberg, a vertical. And like Fellini said, he said, it's easier to go to the moon than it is to make a movie. Well, it's easier to go to Mars than it is to make a vertical movie. Okay, because making that skinny little vertical 16 by 9 is a bitch. And how to find your castmates and putting together people that are good at comedy, etc. And I got off on this adventure, and it's still going. And the universe said one thing: you need a movie star in this pro bono to help you. I don't mean a wannabe movie star. I don't mean a hopeful movie star. I either need a has-been TV star or a superstar that's a real star to give me 8 lines. Because a real vertical is a 1-page script, and it's a soap opera with a twist. So I put the twist on Steinberg as he's such a bad comic, they put together a $150,000 price on his head. So the first person who kills him gets the dough. Well, I thought of killing myself, but how could I spend the money? So that's the line, you know, where I play Steinberg and I bounce around with characters because we have that Saturday Night Live upbringing. All of us, everyone in this has been brought up by Saturday Night Live, which means you can do your own thing. And that's partly why reality TV is so well done. But reality is dying, music is dying, everything is dying and becoming this weird little thing where you get it on the YouTube or you get it on something like that. You see what I'm saying?
TikTok, Instagram, vertical cinema. Yeah.
There's no, we got to find a way to market things. So I'm going to be marketing my project somewhere and put a price on it. I think
so. Speaking about that, with vertical cinema, and I can't help but think about the short attention span that the newer generation has. What kind of length are we talking about with this feature that you're working on?
Whatever it ends up like, it's pushing 40 minutes now. If I could get a movie star tomorrow that's still breathing, then I could finish it up and get it out pronto. It'll be the length that ends up, that the universe makes it. And the funny part is, will I live to get it made? Because during the process of making it, I've just been told that I'm absolutely dying right now of congestive heart failure, right now, today. That's why I walk these hills, to try to beat the rap. And here's something else. Anybody else on a Medicare here?
No,
maybe some of the viewers. Suddenly, I ended up where my insurance eliminated all my doctors. I had a heart doctor that had a plan to save me and keep me alive. I had a doctor that operated on my heart to put a filter through my heart to keep me alive. And and I had a dermatologist that found bad cancers on me that she sliced off part of my earlobe, part of the back of my head, and always frying me and burning me and freezing me. They cut out all my doctors. Suddenly, I have no doctors left except a podiatrist, and I can't see him or any doctor unless I get a special request from my general practitioner. So suddenly a guy that's staying alive by 7 or 8 major specialists has no one. They pulled the plug on my existence. That's for 2026. Kaputski. So I'm fighting that at the same time. That's the most amazing thing I've ever seen, where they pulled the plug on my ability to live.
You know, that's been happening to a lot of people. A friend of mine's wife she's got cancer, and all the treatments were going, and then the doctor said, "Hey, unfortunately, I'm sorry, I can't treat you anymore. You're like, she didn't qualify. Whatever it was, it got cut out like abruptly, and it's like
she's got to go to get another specialist now, right in the middle of her the guy that's saving her life. If that would have happened to me on the prostate cancer, God knows. Because on that, you go every day and they put you into this apparatus and they turn you all around, upside down, in and out, and they're firing beam, 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 beam.
Hey, Steve, hold that thought, because we have about 5 minutes and Zoom is going to shut down, and we're going to take a 10-minute break, and you'll get a second link, which will help us finish off your interview. So we'll have a 10-minute break, and it'll shut down in about 5 minutes and seconds. Yep. And and while we got this 5 minutes, I didn't have everybody introduce themselves. Phil, go ahead and tell them a little bit about yourself.
Phil DeSaro, been working in IT for 30-something years. I've done 2 documentaries, won a bunch of film festivals. One of the documentaries was in PBS nationally for 2 years. But the hardest part about that was raising the $30,000 for the insurance policy, which was, like you said, they're always fighting you. So, published 2 books, always been trying, but I no longer live in California. So now it's even harder because I'm in Florida constantly. So that's me.
And Steve, me, Paul Dale Roberts. I'm an author. I got several books out there. I write for some paranormal magazines. I've been on a lot of documentaries, and basically that's me. And now I'm going to put it to Paranormal Soul Brother.
I'm just a lost soul in this sea of paranormal. I have nothing. I couldn't even tell you what it is, but I do, when I hear stuff and stories of inspirational people, that's basically what keeps me going. So what else can I say? I'm Paranormal Soul Brother.
He was on WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, I did do some episodes in WKRP. I did play a punk kid from the Cincinnati projects. But I wonder why they had me steal something. They said, "Oh no, you can play a redeemable character," and I was like, "Redeemable? What the hell is that?" You got me stealing something, but it worked out fine. It was cool.
Yeah, and that's our claim to fame. So anyway, and if you ever watch like Ghost Adventures and Penn and Teller's bullshit, I've been on those shows.
Well,
Steve, I'm born on Albert Einstein's birthday, but I'm dumb as an ox though, so
Is that February?
My brother's February 2nd though. He's Aquarius like you, man. That's one thing I'll say.
I'm the 14th.
That's insane. That's insane. I wish you happy birthday. If I don't get the chance to talk to you.
Yeah, happy birthday, Steve. And
vibrate.
I'm 71. I'm retired, and I'm on Medicare.
Hey, man.
Yeah,
everybody's got to do.
I'm the old one, 76 on.
It seems like just yesterday I was like in my 20s, and I was disco dancing.
Now you got to be disco leaning on things with a cane.
You know, Steve, when you talked about like just stopping eating, like just having discipline, you know, few people have that type of drive. And I was thinking when you said that, I was watching some show where a man had got he got involved with this young girl, and he was in his 70s, and she had got him smoking cocaine and everything. And they said, well, how did you stop? He said, well, you know what? I just stopped. And the thing of it was, it's like, he's like, I just can't do it anymore, you know. And I thought, you know, if people could just do that, you know. But when you said that about you just stopped eating,
you have to have your discipline. The same thing with movie making and all of our art. By the way, I want each one of you to be in an episode of the show with me. I'll write you a scene.
Absolutely.
That would be insane.
Yeah, that'll help my movie.
That can't be it.
We do our break now. Do we take our break and I'll re-link up?
Yeah, we got about 1 minute and 20 seconds. Hey, what editing software are you using right now, Steve?
Is it? I'm doing MacBook 10 with iMovie.
iMovie.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's all
I'm an Adobe guy, but I got into it a little bit later. But yeah, that's the.
It's free. iMovie is a free thing. You can have added to your MacBook 10 is so bad I can't zoom you. You have to zoom me.
I enjoy it.
I put some AI on it too. I've been using AI to make my tools now, like stuff I couldn't even afford. You know, whatever I can do virtually, I've been using it.
Just make it happen.
Oh yeah.
Make it happen, Make it happen,
That's it.
Yeah, and I've been using AI to make images for my articles. Yeah, those images are just beautiful.
Hey, Paul, you know, Prince, he when they went to the studio, they were expecting to see all this good stuff. They said he was using like old 8-track, and he knew how to use it so good that, like, you know, he got the best sound.
He over-recorded layer after layer. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right, huh?
He knew how to do it. That's how they did it.
Okay, 10 breaks, everybody.
But what's up is what I'm doing is something that's got no budget. It's budgetless entertainment. Everybody signs a release, and then just like Netflix, they put out a call a few months ago. They're looking for vertical movies, vertical projects, because it's going all over the world. It's some form of a virus. It's the viral virus. You know, they Steinberg goes vertical before he goes horizontal again, and that sums it up. But there's no money extended, and get this, it looks just as good as a show that had a budget. And the irony is that on putting these things out at AFM, they were the guys that were doing really well with these verticals. They've all created their own websites where they sell their own product, because there's no way to get any money out of anything anywhere else. So you got to have some form of a launch and a price, and that's what we all got to do. We got to make our own projects and sell them. And here's the kicker: how does the project sell? You watch the news in the morning. You watch the entertainment reporter reporting on what the powers that be want you to see, right? I'm in a movie. It's in the movie theaters. Go see it. Isn't that what they do? You never want to plug anything you're doing before it's out, period, because you're wasting a plug. So my agenda at the end of this thing, I need a star, somebody that's got the power to do the 6 lines, 7 lines with me. But in addition to that, I need to get interviewed on those morning entertainment shows when the project is ready out to be bought. That's the only way to do it. Same thing happens in music, but it's all gone south. All the music's just sitting. Everybody's just getting everything by just getting it. You know what I mean? So we got to find a way to turn what we do into making some money and astounding the world with what we can do for nothing.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure that out for a while. It seems like the kids are onto it, but I can't figure it out.
Oh yeah, you have. You do your own thing. Just it's there.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just push the button and do it. Oh, here's the other scam. For years I couldn't write a movie when I died all those times because I wrote over 350 scripts. By the way, all my movies, everything I ever did, the Natural Born Filmmakers, everything, all my DVDs, all of my tapes, my whole enchilada, they were all thrown out when I was left in the nursing home to die in the dying bed. When they put me from the hospital in the ambulance to the nursing home in the dying bed, all bets were off. So my whole career is gone. 300 of my scripts that were all paper scripts don't exist unless there's a French piece here and there. And all my masters on almost everything are gone. And at first I thought, bummer. But wait a minute. Death is the infinite gone. You don't take nothing with you. So all this glory of our work, it's insignificant in the end. But it's significant while we're breathing. That's why I'm doing it. And but now it's digital. They can't throw the paper away.
Yeah, man.
Keep it on your drive. You know what I mean? That's the new world order. Because I came from paper into a flip phone, and when I came out of one of the hospitals, we moved up to this bullshit. The very first nothing phone. It's not an iPhone. It's a nothing phone made by nothingness, but it works. You know, I can't video or anything with it. I do that with other things, an iPad. But the game is, we can do what we do for nothing and turn it into something. You follow me? Every one of us. And that's our goal. You can make documentaries on anything. You got your iPhone, right?
Yeah.
There you go. That beats anything that, Blair Witch was 560. It wasn't even 1920 by 1080. It was in
that's
the
right.
movie
Blair
theater.
Witch. That's right. Yeah, they were. Yeah.
And it was the worst thing ever made that made the most money that ever got made.
You ever see Searching for Sugarman?
If I did, I forgot, because every time I died, I lost a lot of brain cells.
They did that on the iPhone. It was a great documentary.
Yeah, you can do anything on an iPhone or on an iPad. That's all you got. That's all you need, because you got your signal. I only work 1920 by 1080 because I don't have modernness. I have antiquity, and I'm not into 2K, 4K, 6K. I do it all in 1920 by 1080. Anyone who works with me needs to reduce their, not only their weight, they can start starving a little, but they got to give me the shrunken down, because that's all we need, 1920 by 1080. Netflix anybody will take it. They can all pay for more if they want it. It's good to get a budget someday where they put the pieces together and say, tally ho. But in order to get there, you got to do your own thing. And that's why I'm doing this. Budgetless entertainment.
Ooh, man. Steve, you know what? If anything, this show right here, we're going to have to rewatch like 4 or 5 times because of the amount of game that you are giving in it, the amount of knowledge. If I hope in your series that it has you giving nuggets like that, where it's almost like your Yoda coming at us with this stuff. If people really understand what you're saying, because you're talking about stuff that you already painstakingly worked through, and you're trying to tell us, hey man, look, just start it right here. Just like all this other stuff. I
died through it. But the kicker to this thing is, my show can have no references to sex, drugs, politics, or anything untowards, because I'm working with Neil Nayar, the 18-year-old Indian prodigy kid that's been on Good Morning America, Sam Rubin, Jennifer Hudson, yada yada, and all the other shows, because he owns and he's mastered over 130 musical instruments from around the world, and he can layer them and play them and do his own game with it. And I'm working with him. He comes to me to coach him on movies too, because that's my game, what's left of my game. And because he's getting movies now, he's getting scorings, he's going up. So I keep everything all towards, because they're Hindu and very religious. So that prevents me from old school comedy. We used everything. Now I can only hope it's a joke. That's all I got left is the hope it's a joke. But that usually works. Hope it's a joke. But there's no reason to give up. And everything we do, we can do with just this stuff. Each one of us has an editing device, and that's all it is. It's you glue the shit together. That's all editing is, isn't it? Pieces, how you put the pieces together. But I was saying, I couldn't write. I could not write. I lost my music. I can only do lyrics. I can't do any music right now. I lost it. When you die, you lose things, right? I have a guitar over there. I can't do that anymore. No. But ironically, I forced myself to write my first feature again. And I'm on to the second one. And the trick with that is, no matter how tired, how miserable, how bummed out, whatever happened, make sure before you book out, you write a certain amount every day. Okay. If you miss a day, you're going to pop it off and say, "Ah, hell with it." And so, that's what I've learned. And I'm doing that now on my second one, where I give these nuggets that you're talking about, because Myron Monroe is a character based on me, Steinberg, going through what I'm going through. I mean, Oakley. I'm really Oakley, but I'm so Steinberged out that I've become, in my mind, that's got to be the thing that pops, because if that don't pop, then Joanne Woodward was right.
And I see that you did some writing for some of your documentaries, or?
Yes, I wrote everything. It was in paper, and it all got thrown out. We did everything in paper, right? Typewriter. Every single script I did in the theater, I handed them pages that I typed with carbon paper every night. That's how I did over 300 plays, 10 musicals. I wrote it on the spot. Yeah. But that was all paper. Now we got to do that same thing digitally. But once you start dying and you fuck up your brain, you're not all there. When I walk, I lean over and I look like I'm going to fall all the time. I have to lean on things or use a cane, except when I take my long walk. Then I haul ass on the streets, just like almost a kid. It takes years off because you're getting your exercise. If you ain't got your exercise, you're dead. Whatever it is, this could be your exercise. If that's all you can do. When I was in a hospital bed with the needles in all the arms and the mask on and the monitors everywhere, that's it. I could just do that. Yeah. But you got to come back and do it. Make it happen. You got to, and tell yourself, whatever it is you're doing, you're going to do a little bit of it every day. Never miss a day until that one's done. Then take a vacation. Don't do anything else till you want to start a new one.
Well, like with myself, I make it a point to write an article once a week.
That's it.
No matter what, I'm going to write an article for that week and the next week and the next week.
That's it. It's exactly what I'm doing, only a little bit reversed, because the last day hits, I'm done for a while. I'm not starting a new movie because this is the second one back. First one was a horror flick in a haunted house. And this one's based on a guy going through what we're all going through, this Medicare, old age, no doctors, all this bullshit, right? That's what this one's about. And that can have cussing in it.
And it's so funny, but I've actually had the opportunity to write for Hellboy comic books. And you've seen Hellboy in the movies, but I got to do some script writing in a comic book. And then also, too, there was a TV show called When Ghosts Attacks, and I was able to write the story for that. So that was kind of cool. And it got the credit in the IMDb.
Right. That's it, man. That thing's important. because everybody in the industry, we look there to see what's up, because a lot of people claim this and that, and they're not on IMDb.
Right.
Okay. And are you kidding? And then they claim this and they claim that, but their number is like 12 million or 3 million or whatever. I've gotten this is a joyous week because I've got the company number down to 5,300 and something. My number is
and so many people don't know the importance of IMDb. I mean, I recently got contacted by a producer over at Ancient Aliens, and the first thing they looked at was my IMDb. And some people don't even keep up with it.
That's the first thing I look at, because 99, here's when I was a beginning actor, when Will Gear was teaching me and Paul Newman was teaching me and others back in the beginning, we had to have a picture, a resume, and a phone number. We had to have an answering machine or an answering service. That was it. And nowadays, you can't reach anybody. Nobody. You're in touch with everybody by this nothingness. Can you message them, or should you email them? This is an insolent thing to do to a casting director.
That's funny.
I'm a casting director. If I can't talk to somebody and there's no percolation, plus I write a script. I probably won't get these scripts out till tomorrow, because tonight, the last thing I'm going to do tonight is back to my 4 pages a day. That's what I've decided I can write on a movie. The last movie, the first one back, was 3 pages. I think I'll stick at 4, maybe 5 on the next, because that's a lot of concentration for me, especially with no brain left, hardly. I mean, I got a brain, but I'm on 8 pills, actually, no, 10 pills. 10 pills a day, 5 in the morning and 5 at night. And that's what keeps me going, plus the weed. And that's what
kind of weed, man? What kind of weed? Indica, sativa, what do you like?
In the morning, when you're coffeeed up and you're doing your creativity, you got to do your sativa. You know, it's a caffeine inducing, game. And then when you're starting to, like, you don't want to be jacked up, all day, forget it. You're too old for that. So then you got to get into the hybrid. Okay.
Right. Okay.
And then after the hybrid for night, Bamo, indica, and get ready for bed, because 3 hits of indica and you're crawling under the sheets right away. You better, or you're going to fall down, because that's the purpose. It puts you to sleep. You want to go right to sleep, forget all the bullshit, all the anger, anxiety, depression, suppression, repression, and politics, and especially economics, because we're being crushed simultaneously by these walls falling on us, because we can't hold them up. And the only way to beat it is to become successful, so you can hire people to hold up the fucking walls. That's it.
Hey, Steve, I was going to ask you, what was it like to work with the Kardashians and Paris Hilton and Nicole?
That was very trippy, because that's a different, when you look at in our culture, they're like princesses and queens, and they're in a different league, a different world, And the other guy that was really cool was Sir Richard Branson. He was very trippy, because he was the kindest, most humane, wonderful dude. And working with Paris and Nicole, they're still out there running around, and she looks exactly the same. Amazed, this is decades later, right? She looks just the same as she did then, but she was aloof. In the Kardashians were aloof, like elegant. They were extremely elegant, and it's very unusual to deal with that. You probably may never deal with it again, unless you deal with a king or a queen or some kind of. It's opulence. We're opulent. We're just oozing opulence and power. But the coolest one who could buy, sell, and trade them all was Richard Branson, Sir Richard Branson. And the first day he went by my little cubicle at the joint, I stood up and I said, "Sir Richard, "It's a pleasure to see you in the office, sir." And he said, "It's a pleasure to be here. What's your name?" I said, "Steve Oakley." He said, "It's a pleasure to meet you, Steve Oakley." And then every time he came back to the office, he would go up to my cubicle and say, "How are you today, Steve Oakley?" Or if I was gone, he would tell someone to say, "Hello from Sir Richard," you know? And he had the most
Nice.
wonderful humanity, polished humanity that I've ever dealt with, period. It's like the difference between them all. He was so aloof, he could be an island, you know what I mean? Compared to them, their wealth and power were nothing compared to Sir Richard Branson, you know? But he was the one that was the most down to earth of all. And it's a trip to be around aloof people. And the one thing you've got to do is just be very polite, kind, and never mess around. And when a network tells you to do something and they tell you to jump, you always say, "How high, sir?" In this business of show business, you've got to know where the bread is buttered at all times and work with the people and work through the power and with the power. Because this business is based on power. You know, those numbers, like on IMDb, if you look up Branson or Hilton or Kardashians, their numbers are low, powerful. You know what I mean? They're down so low you can't believe it, because that's where the power's at. You know, in my case, I'm just a goofy comic dude, so I don't think I could ever be that aloof. You know,
I bet you could. You know, your mind is thinking about the new medium, because you mentioned YouTube and the way that the program is going now. And I think a lot of people are starting to see, you know, the days of CBS, or when I could watch creature features on KTVO. That's all. I mean, that passed so long ago. Now it's everybody wants to be a television programmer. Basically, anybody, instead of offering your journal or yourself or whatever you have to offer, is like, what can you offer it on your channel? And so people like my brother, he just celebrated his 60th birthday, but he had been trying to do music and things for, I mean, his whole life. He moved to Europe, supported a family. I mean, he's that good at where he can hustle and play shows. I don't know people in the United States that can really support themselves just doing music. But finally, lo and behold, he been going on YouTube for the 2 years, and was like 10, 11 videos. He got over 7 million hits, and like he didn't even realize what was going on. I said, "Bro," I said, "you're running around talking about pay your rent and this and that." I said, "Do you know they've already monetized those views already?" I said, "You need to go ahead and, you know, somehow." He got his
pick up your
subs up.
money. He needed to
Yeah,
pick
so
up his money.
he's into the game, but he needs some guys. But like, it just happened for him. And when you were talking about your story, the times you died, and you're rewriting the story, I've been hearing like really powerful guys that are achieving things, like maybe that the owner of the Warriors out here, that owns the Golden State Warriors or whatever. He was talking about, "Hey man, my story's not over. I was down. I decided I'm gonna write this story. I'm writing my own story." But he was saying it in a rhetorical way, where it's like, look, make it like it's gonna happen in the same way. Like it's kind of the type of inspiration of the thing that you're conveying. That's cool. But you see it, but I don't, you know, can't bottle it up, you know.
Make your own success out of what you got to work with, and don't let nobody stop you. And everybody wants to pull you down. That seems to be the case mostly. So just tap dance on them and just do it anyway. I mean, that's it. You got to do it. Or go out doing it. You know, you either die doing it or exceed your limits and succeed despite what you ain't got. Just with what you do got. Like, look, what does he have? He has great talent. 6 million hits. Yikes. Now, if that could be transferred and combined into things like I'm talking about, like a TV show, like the old days they did the TV shows and all, if that could be combined and then there was a price tag on that bitch, and then the song, and or I put sizzle reels on YouTube, toss them out. of what I do.
Okay.
So that's the freebie to take you over to the page and, to go see the whole damn thing and help out. But the game is that if he were to put that together with the money-making side, come on.
That's what I'm saying. But it happened to him so fast, like the
Well, it's still going. I'd love to come in on that and let's write this fucking thing and fix it so we could do what I'm talking about, a vertical show about a reality show, about what's going down, but with a structure, and just knock this bitch out and then use that song in that to bring the people to that, but that would be monetized.
Yeah.
Like a $5 show. You know what I mean?
You got good language, man. I love it. Yeah.
Well, we got to do that.
Contact with him, man.
Yeah, let's all stay in contact. I could. There's only so much of me, and I use myself up every day. And today, oh boy, but because we were up at 3:30 when I lost my glasses. I sleep with these glasses on. I never take them off except for the shower. Not these, my reading glasses. Only a shower or changing shirts, because I can't see so good. And they were gone. I flipped, couldn't find them. Finally did, but everybody's up then. I'm flipping because I can't even see the clock without some kind of glasses. But the game is that we can make any of this stuff in a day, pretty much. It's all we got to do is set up what we need to get it together. You edit, right? So all we need him to do is use his iPhone probably, and to get what we need, and that'll do it. Like Unreal World.
I see what
we
you're
worked
saying.
with what we had to work with. Then we get the fucking confessional and then the interview to cut in with the tape of what's going on. We got to get somehow show what the fuck he's doing to get this action going and where it's at as he is now. Okay. And feeling the power of the 6 million views and the happiness and all this hard work and the family and everything he's ever done. We need that in video scenes. Whoever he's working with, he talks to, and they yammer back and forth, wife, kids, whoever it is, friends. And then everybody needs to sign a release. Otherwise, it's a pain in the ass and no one will ever take it. And so you get a release. You get a little thing. Like when you work with me, I'm going to give a release. And it's real simple, image likeness, that game. And then from there, it gets put together with that music, making it pop. That's in the thing. It's in the credits, in the beginning and the end. It's throughout the show. That 6 million. That's amazing. 6 million.
Man, he started. Some lady said, "Hey, we want to start a group called Donkey Beach Vibes," and they were sitting on Donkey Beach, and he said, "Hey, he came home and he told me about it." I said, "Bro, it sounds like a good idea." I said,
"There's a show right there."
That's it. So, and she the lady, his partner Chris, she came from the States, but then they're both living in Geneva right now. But he's been playing for a long time, the Alps, Val d'Isère, France, Italy, singing a bunch of covers, doing all this thing, working really hard.
But this is his own song, the 6 million. I hope.
No, actually, the 4.6 million on No Woman No Cry is not his song. It's not his song. It's a cover by Marley, but he does have the original that have like 500, 600,000.
What can we do to flip him into his own?
We can do that.
We create whatever it is he's got. We got to blow that up into a 6 million. That's the plot line too. To get.
I want to put you in contact with him.
Yeah, we could do it all by Zoom, man.
Because I
want to start writing for y'all immediately. I want each tomorrow when I have some strength. After I live in a duplex. I've lived in the back for 40 years, and the city comes and inspects every so many years. So everything had to be done. I've been up to my ass. Tomorrow's the great inspection. So I have to live through that without the world coming in to kill me. And if it doesn't, which I hope it doesn't, we've done everything humanly possible even inhumanly. But the game is that then I'll write the scenes for each one of you so you can see what I'm doing, and then I urge each one of us to assist each one of us to get our own bullshit going, our own individual universe. That we can work together, but we're actually on our own plan, because according to my doctor, I could be dead tomorrow, but I beat him, so far, and I got to see him, and he's got to tell me how to get other doctors, because I have none. The guy that needs
keep beating him.
I'm gonna go to his office, but he's 82, so I'll be 76, and he's 82. The question: will I outlive him? Will he outlive me? Will we die in session? In the same office at the same time, but bump. All I gotta say is eat what you like to eat in moderation, and stay as active as you can be, doing what it is you do. Okay, that's what I do, and I think we got a team here you pulled together a bitchin' group of artists and individuals from around the world. Paul, you really done a good job.
Thank you.
You kicked ass. I'm sorry. I had probably too much. See it after the morning with the coffee. This is tea. I hardly drink water. I only drink coffee and tea. All night long, I'll be drinking tea.
What kind of tea? Hibiscus, jasmine, chamomile, what? What do you like?
Tejaba in a bottle.
Okay.
I buy a case at a time and hope I live to drink it.
Man, you're gonna go a long way. You got a lot. You got a lot to give. You still got a lot to give, man. You going?
I hope so.
Steve, time flies. I mean, man, it's just like I was in my 20s, and then before I knew it, I was in 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and now I'm in the 70s. What the hell happened?
We lived.
Wow.
We lived. We done what we done, went where we went, had what we had, but we can, if we would have done things better, our mistakes got us. Mine did. And they stop you. We create our own mistakes that prevent a lot of success too. Yeah. I know I did.
What's really good is that I look back in my life, and if I had to change anything, there's really not too much I want to change. I everything I did, I enjoyed. I mean,
oh yeah,
I would change everything.
I enjoyed
everything.
What would you change, Phil? You would say everything, huh?
Oh my God. Well, in high school, I would have spent a lot more time focusing on school instead of girls. I would have focused on playing my guitar a lot more and taking it more seriously instead of just that garage band crap, and focusing with the dynamics of bands, which sucked, and just focused on myself. And I would have focused on the bass, because there were a million guitar players, but the bass players always had work. Bass players always had work, and nobody wanted to play bass back then. But man, I could have been knee deep in it and constantly working if I would have just settled on 4 strings instead of 6. So yeah, that would have been number one. Second would have been focusing on school instead of chasing women. Third, maybe stayed a little bit longer in the military. Fourth, in 2009, throw everything I had and then some into Bitcoin when I had the chance. So yeah, there's just a few things I might have done differently.
Oh yeah. That was we all went through it.
Oh yeah. And Steve, back in the 70s, I used to dance with Jeff Kutash's dance machine. I don't know if you remember that. And we were the first number to share. And I met Cher. She was just really down to earth, very humble lady.
Yeah, just probably like Richard Branson. They're regular.
Yeah.
Because she was regular.
Yes.
When Sonny found her, she was just a regular person. And you can't take the regular out of regular people if they're regular.
I heard that.
And she's aloof.
I used to love a courtship of Eddie's father when I was a little kid. When I was like before that was you know, a little bit of came way later. But those shows they had, Marcus Welby and stuff like the TV just changed. The stuff they have now. And I asked my auntie. I said, auntie, I said, do you watch YouTube or anything like that? She said, child, I don't watch that stuff. I said, why not? She said, you know what? Because I can wake up every day and see somebody act a fool anytime I want to. She said, everybody's just acting a fool. And I was like, So, you know, people got different perspectives on it, you know, depends on, but if you stay with it, you know, I mean, everybody's, well, TikTok people are leaving, isn't that right? People are leaving TikTok because of the ownership or whatever. I heard some going on about that, but, you know, the new AI platforms like Marble and Cosmic that are coming out, those things are going to be incredible. So,
yeah. And Steve, a lot of people do a lot of crazy things on YouTube and everything else to get those hits. So, I mean, just doing stupid stuff. And it's hard I don't want to do stupid stuff to get hits, you know. Right now on reality TV, they got this show in which the woman wants to eat other people's toenails. And yeah. And she's so disgusting. But on YouTube, she's getting millions of hits. And what she's doing is gross, you know, it's just plain gross.
Hey, you know, my father said, he told me, he said, son, listen, whatever you do, you give it a good fuck. He said, I don't care if you're the best pencil sharpener in the world, or you're the best shoestring tire. He said, if you do it well, men are gonna salute you and pay you for it.
Hey, well, listen, you guys, we got 4 minutes. Steve, how can people reach you or get a hold of you?
Okay. I'm reachable at melaniegrunder@gmail.com. That's my wife's email. melaniegrunder@gmail.com. I'm on LinkedIn. You can link in with me there. And that if you text first, you can call me at 818-497-3183. That way I know it's not spam.
And you're also too on Facebook. I saw you on
Facebook.
on
Facebook too. Steve Oakley on Facebook.
Okay. And I'll give your Facebook information to Phil and to Zandine.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And,
please.
And let's mess around, and I want you each to do a scene with me in the show because it's fun, it's easy. And eventually my final thing is I need a movie star to do 7 lines for free and help out a dying boy. You know, I'll find that guy somewhere, and that'll launch this.
Got to get Ryan Gosling in it. Isn't he like the hot ticket these days?
I'd love to. I can't reach him personally. The only way to do it is if somebody said, "Hey, Ryan, talk to this guy and see what he says," and then I called him up. But going through agents and managers, get it. Can't do it.
Get it.
But I'll get there. I'll bump into it. That's how I get my cats. They're brought by God. So it has to happen. Or if it doesn't, it's fun trying.
Who's your latest cat, by the way?
The latest cat would have been Dottie, a black and white girl with a little black mark on her chin. And Stella, who's a calico. We ain't got no kittens. Some of these kids, the one on my lap right now is Peaches, and he's 15 years old.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
So my Siamese, he keeps me alive, and I keep him alive. He rides my lap.
You know, and there's Phil's cat. What's the name? What's the name of that cat? Phil?
This is Happy Gilmore.
Oh,
Happy.
Hey, Happy.
All right.
Peaches and Happy on TV tonight.
Yeah.
got Peaches and Happy on TV tonight.
That's it. the Pizzas and Happy show. Happy and Peaches.
When I found him, he was trying to cross the street with his mother about 15 years ago.
Oh,
And,
that's
you know, his mother got away, but I managed to get him.
He's a ball.
Yeah,
Just fine.
what a
big
beautiful
boy.
face. Yeah.
He's a big boy. He's my oldest now. It's sad.
Wow.
Wow.
He's into this. He's into the show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just have him sign a release form.
Yeah, no problem.
With the cats,
Hey.
we don't need a form.
Yeah.
We all ex-SAG members. I know. We're not paying. Our dues aren't paid. That's for sure. At least mine aren't.
All right, guys. It's almost over. 6, 5, 4,
It's been a pleasure.
Been a
2.